The air was thick with stuff. Clothes overflowed from closets, spilling onto the floor in a chaotic mess. Books teetered precariously on shelves, threatening to topple over at any moment. Every surface, every corner screamed for breathing room. There was no space left untouched by the clutter. I was drowning in my possessions, feeling the weight of each item pressing down on me. Each day felt heavier than the last, as if the clutter was slowly suffocating me. The weight wasn't physical, not exactly. It was an emotional burden, a constant reminder of my inability to let go. It was a weight on my soul, a constant low-grade anxiety that permeated everything. The clutter was a manifestation of my inner turmoil. I was trapped in a cycle of consumerism, buying things I didn't need, filling a void I couldn't quite name. Each purchase brought a fleeting sense of satisfaction, quickly replaced by regret. My apartment, once a haven, now felt like a prison. The walls seemed to close in on me, the clutter a constant reminder of my excess. The things I owned, meant to bring comfort and joy, now suffocated me. They were supposed to enhance my life, but instead they drained it. The irony was not lost on me. I had surrounded myself with things, yet I felt more isolated than ever. I had everything I thought I wanted, yet I felt utterly empty. Something had to change. I needed to reclaim my space, my peace, and ultimately, my life. One evening, while browsing the internet, I stumbled upon a blog post. Minimalism, the title proclaimed. It was a word I had heard before, but never truly understood. Intrigued, I clicked, my curiosity piqued. The blog promised a life of simplicity, a stark contrast to my current state of chaos. The words on the screen resonated deep within me. They spoke of freedom, of clarity, of a life unburdened by excess. The concept was simple, elegant, living with less. It was about more than just decluttering, it was about making space for what truly mattered. The author argued that by shedding unnecessary possessions, we could free ourselves from the weight of consumerism and find true happiness. It was a radical idea, but one that made perfect sense. I devoured every word, a spark igniting within me. The more I read, the more I felt a deep connection to this philosophy. Could this be the answer I'd been searching for? The solution to the constant feeling of being overwhelmed? The idea of minimalism, radical as it seemed, offered a glimmer of hope, a path out of the suffocating clutter that defined my life. It was a chance to start anew. I decided then and there to embark on my own minimalist journey, to see where this path of less might lead. It was the beginning of a transformation, a seed of change planted in my heart. I began cautiously, tackling one room at a time. It was a daunting task, but I knew it was necessary for my peace of mind. Clothes I hadn't worn in years, books I'd never finish, and items that had lost their purpose, they all had to go. Gadgets that had long since become obsolete, they all went. It was surprising how much space these forgotten items occupied. Each item I discarded felt like a small victory, a weight lifted from my shoulders. The sense of relief was palpable, almost tangible. The process wasn't always easy. There were moments of hesitation, times when I felt overwhelmed by the sheer volume of stuff. Sentimental attachments, fear of regret, and the ingrained belief that more is always better. These were my adversaries. Letting go of items with emotional value was particularly challenging. There were moments of doubt, times when I questioned my sanity. Was I making the right choices? Was this really necessary? Was I going too far? These questions haunted me, but I pressed on, determined to see it through. But then I would look around at the emerging space, the sense of calm it brought, and I knew I was on the right track. The clarity and order were worth the struggle. Letting go of physical possessions was also liberating me from the mental and emotional baggage I'd been carrying for far too long. It was a journey towards freedom, both inside and out. As my apartment became more spacious, so too did my life. With less stuff to clean, organize, and worry about, I found myself with more time and energy for things that truly mattered. Spending time with loved ones, pursuing passions I'd neglected, simply being present in the moment. The joy I felt was unexpected, profound. It wasn't the fleeting pleasure of a new purchase, but a deep sense of contentment that arose from within. I was beginning to understand that true happiness wasn't about accumulating more, but about appreciating what I already had. The empty spaces in my home weren't empty at all. They were filled with a newfound sense of freedom and possibility. Section 5. The Minimalist Mindset, From Possessions to Experiences. Minimalism wasn't just about owning less stuff. It was about shifting my values, about prioritizing experiences over possessions. It was about investing in relationships, personal growth, and contributing to something larger than myself. I began to spend more time outdoors, hiking in nature, connecting with the world around me. I reconnected with old friends, nurtured meaningful relationships, and discovered new passions. Life became an adventure, a journey of discovery. I was no longer defining myself by what I owned, but by who I was and what I did. The world, once limited by the walls of my cluttered apartment, now stretched out before me, full of infinite possibilities. Section 6. Navigating social pressure. The courage to be different. Living a minimalist lifestyle in a consumerist society wasn't without its challenges. I faced skepticism from friends and family, their well-intentioned questions often laced with concern. "But what if you need it later?" they'd ask. "Aren't you depriving yourself?" It took courage to stand firm in my convictions, to explain that my pursuit of less wasn't about deprivation, but about living more intentionally. I learned to navigate social pressure with grace and understanding, knowing that my choices might inspire others to question their own relationship with possessions. Ultimately, my happiness was my own, and it was rooted in something far more profound than the fleeting approval of others. Section 7. Minimalism and Gratitude. Finding joy in what remains. As I continued to simplify my life, I became acutely aware of the abundance that surrounded me. I developed a deep sense of gratitude for the things I did own, the roof over my head, the clothes on my back, the people who loved me. I began to appreciate the simple things in life: a warm cup of coffee on a chilly morning, the laughter of a friend, the beauty of a sunset. These moments, once overlooked in the busyness of my life, now filled me with a profound sense of joy. Minimalism had taught me to appreciate the present moment, to find contentment in the here and now. Section 8. The Ripple Effect. Minimalism beyond possessions. My minimalist journey extended far beyond my physical possessions. It permeated every aspect of my life, my relationships, my work, my relationship with myself. I became more mindful of my time, my energy, and my impact on the environment. I decluttered my schedule, eliminating unnecessary commitments and obligations. I began to say no more often, setting healthy boundaries to protect my time and energy. I adopted more sustainable practices, reducing my consumption and waste. Minimalism, I discovered, was a holistic pursuit, a way of living with intention and purpose in every area of my life. Section 9. A Life Unburdened. The Transformative Power of Less. Looking back on my journey, I am astonished by the transformation I've undergone. The man who once felt buried alive in his possessions is now free. Free from the weight of consumerism, free from the relentless pursuit of more, free to live a life of purpose and meaning. My minimalist lifestyle isn't about deprivation, it's about abundance. An abundance of time, energy, experiences, and joy. It's about living with intention, focusing on what truly matters, and making choices that align with my values. Minimalism has given me the greatest gift of all, the freedom to be myself. Section 10. Your Journey to Freedom, an invitation to explore. The path of minimalism is a personal one. There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's about finding what works for you, at your own pace. Start small, experiment, and be kind to yourself along the way. If you're feeling overwhelmed by clutter, weighed down by possessions, I invite you to explore the transformative power of less. You might be surprised by what you discover. The journey to freedom begins with a single step. Take a deep breath, let go, and embrace the beauty of less.